Hey there guys, this is Malorian and this is a Warcaster review. This is where we take a Warcaster or Warlock, we talk about the stats, the abilities, I think some of the tricks and tips and some models you might want to take with them. And today we're going to be going to what used to be one of my favorite Warlocks in Legion, and that's Bethayne, and of course her little buddy Belphagor. Now she has a whole bunch of rules that you need to read, and it's really just the one rule when you want to look at the back of the card. It's like that's all one rule, but she is very interesting and can be also very powerful if you know how to use her. You can also get her killed really easily if you don't. So it's one of these more kind of a finesse caster, but I found her to be really great, and let's kind of talk about why. So first of all, she's a Fury 7 caster, so that's fairly decent. She has Speed 6, so not too bad. Strength 5, Mat 6. Normally for her, if you're using her Mat and you're attacking, probably something's going wrong and you're getting desperate, but hey, it comes up. Rat 4, which is useless because she doesn't have a gun. Defense 16, Armor 12. So normally, again, when you're looking at casters, that defense and armor should add up to be about 30. That's kind of what the average is. And she's just a 28. So at first you're like, oh wow, she sucks. Wait a second, it gets better. Of course, Command 9, not too bad. She has two weapons, which is her Talons of Everblight. So they're basically like her two little, like, Edward Scissorhand claws she has. They're P plus S 10, so not really that strong. They have continuous corrosion though, and they're also magical. So normally if you really do need to kill stuff with her, it would not be like a big beast or anything with the high armor. Actually, it could have high armor. Her big thing is she wants to have only one box so that she can get in there, try and hit and kill you, and if it doesn't, okay, you have automatically continuous corrosion, and on the next turn, on a 1 or 2, it'll go away, but otherwise, on a 3+, you just die, because you just take that 1 point of damage. So again, I used her quite a bit back in the day when I was playing Legion, and I think it came up in one game where I attacked with her and was actually trying to kill off a few guys. So otherwise, yeah, don't really think that those talents are going to be a big part of her. Now, let's get to, actually before we go to her one ability, let's talk about what that ability be with, which is Belphagor. She only has 3 beast points because you get this little light war beast right away. It is called Belphagor, and this thing here can go up to Fury 3, Threshold 9, so pretty solid. It has Speed 5, it has Strength 9, Mat 6, so you know, okay. Again, Rat 4 doesn't matter because it doesn't have a gun. But then Defense 12, Armor 19. Now for a light beast to be Armor 19, that's fantastic. That's very armored up. And this is also in a faction where of course we have Spiky Growth, so you could be going up to Armor 21. You can make this a very strong, beefy, armored little beast here. And then a Commander 6, it doesn't really come up. It has Eyeless Sight because it's a Legion beast. It is immune to cold, corrosion, lightning, and fire. It's immune to all these things, and that comes up a lot. Oh, a Ravagor wants to shoot you? Nope, not going to happen. Or is somebody trying to hit you with like a bolt of lightning? No, it's just not going to happen. And there's so many different things here where it's just a massive, massive boon to have. Again, if you're doing the Legion mirror match and you're worried about Ravagors, this thing is basically immune to Ravagor shooting. So very, very awesome. Very, very great. Again, another big list right now is the EE, the whole one with Cassandra, with all the little light beasts there for trolls, evolutionary elementism, or whatever it's called. But it's going to have all these different beasts, like these pirate trolls and these slag trolls, and all these things that have typed element attacks, and they're all going to be useless against this guy. So very awesome. He has 2 attacks. There's a POW 13 and a POW 13. So a little bit stronger than what Bethayne's is, and can do a little bit of work. You know, only Fury 3, so you're not going to be able to really boost and do a lot of things. It's not a heavy, but it can get a little bit work done too. Has a pretty solid number of boxes. I mean, for a light, it's pretty beefy in the boxes as well. And then from it in the back here, its Animus is Despoiler, and this is a fantastic Animus. Now what this is a cost 2, it's on a self, and you center a 5-inch AoE cloud effect on this model. The AoE remains centered on the model. Enemy models entering or ending activations in the AoE suffer 1 damage point. This lasts for 1 round. Now, where this Animus is amazing is that Belphagor can just go around like in a zone, and if there's no other heavies to try and take it out, and just really go around and just bully a whole bunch of infantry. Because right now, just like we're seeing with the Sacker Vault, where you have this thing where, hey, you can't get near me or else you die, that's what he does. He comes up, he punches a couple of infantry, and then Animuses, and says, all right, what are you going to do? You can't come at me. It's also, of course, a cloud that's going to break him up to defense 14 if somebody's trying to shoot at him. This is a cloud you can just make, so if you want to hide Bethayne or something else behind it, hey, boom, I got a cloud. Of course, Bethayne can cast this as well. So again, if it looks like, oh no, I'm about to get charged by a bunch of infantry, nope, cast this Animus, I'm basically invincible. You know, you just don't even try. You can't get to me. So it's a very, very powerful Animus, and definitely not one to forget. Now, its rules, it has a couple, you know, it's soulless, it's a blood creation, the normal Legion things. It's also a channeler. So Bethayne can go and use it as an arc node. So that's great, you know, getting this little free, not free because it comes from your beast points basically, but having this arc node there that can go up there and do Animus and do work, he's a fantastic thing to have there as an arc node. And it also says here that, you know, if Bethayne dies, this guy goes away too. Alright, that's cool. Well, let's actually go back now to Bethayne again to talk about her one rule. This model is called Flesh Meld. This model can use Flesh Meld at any time during its activation while in base-to-base with Belphagor. Remove this model, so Bethayne, from the table, Belphagor becomes a Warlock warrior model and loses Blood Creation and Soulless. Belphagor cannot activate after this model uses Flesh Meld. During the turn it uses Flesh Meld. While melded, it becomes, the command becomes 9, and its base fury becomes 7. Any effects on this model currently on Belphagor, or remove the fury points currently on Belphagor. If there's any effects, you still apply them. So that's awesome. It comes over well melded. Belphagor can cast the model's spells and use its feat. Basically, this is a whole bunch of blah, 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 blah. It basically means Bethayne goes inside Belphagor. And now all of a sudden, you have Bethayne that is using Belphagor's defensive stats, but you still are now getting her Fury 7, her spells, her command that you're all doing from the safety of Belphagor. So remember when we said that that defense 16, armor 12 kind of sucks? Well, guess what? When you go inside here and you're defense 12, armor 19, and you're immune to all those types of attacks, that is freaking fantastic and very powerful. And again, something else you can do too is have Belphagor go up, he goes there and attacks some things and does its Animus, and then after that you can basically like cast your spells with Bethayne or whatever you want to do, charge into Belphagor, and before you make the attack, or if you can just advance into him, you can always just say, okay, it's part of my activation, bam, I'm going to go inside him now. And all of a sudden, all that fury that you went and you spent on Belphagor, you wipe it clean, you're now just going to have the fury that Bethayne still had on her, and yeah, hurrah, you know, you're now in this super tank. So it's very, very powerful. Now, after, the part that we have to talk about this here as well, is that this model can separate from Belphagor during your maintenance phase. So back at the very start of the turn, that's where you have to decide if you want to be leaving or something. And if you do, place it in base to base with Belphagor. If Belphagor is destroyed or removed from play while this model is melded with it, the model is destroyed. So basically, something you have to watch out for is it's not like a Feral Geist, where if you go inside something with a Feral Geist, they kill the beast, it pops back out. No. If you're inside Belphagor while it's killed, well, Bethayne's killed too. So you do have to keep that in mind, but this is something that's really neat here. I mean, we haven't talked about the spells or the feat, but this is something where you have to really kind of say, like, do I want Belphagor out there to kind of be doing his Animus, bullying some things around, being an arc node, or do I want him being closer to me inside? And that's going to really come down to, sorry, my throat. Do I feel in trouble? Do I feel like something's going to shoot me, magic me, whatever? That's a real problem. Like, again, if you're up against Goreshade 3, right, where he wants to freeze you and shoot you up, well, guess what? I'm going to go inside Belphagor, where I'm going to be immune to any of this spell stuff, because, hey, I'm immune to cold, so you can't just freeze me. And then after, I'm armor 19. You know, I could even be armor 21, again with spiky growth. good luck trying to kill me, right? And plus it's with transfers now as well. So very, very powerful. And you have to kind of decide which way you want to go. Now with this, let's also talk about her spells, because we haven't even got to that yet. Now, her first spell is an awesome one. It's called Ashen Veil. This one costs 2, which rains 6, and target friendly model or unit gains concealment, and then living enemy models suffer -2 to their attack rolls while within 2 inches of this model. So this is a great way to be, first of all, keeping a unit more safe from range stuff because it gives them concealment, and then as long as whatever they're fighting is living, you basically give them +2 defense as well. So if you are up against, say, whatever, you have some, now I can't think, if you have some Stormblades coming in, if you have a Warp Wolf coming in, things like that, it would work against. If you're up against Cricks or up against a Jack, okay, it's not helping you, but either way, if you put on things, say, like Striders, all of a sudden they're going up to defense 17. If you're putting it on to your Hex Hunters, they're going up to defense 16, and you're really just kind of pushing that defense skew. Now again, it doesn't work against everything, and sometimes, like, well, I'm just playing Cricks, it's useless, so do keep that in mind. She also has Bloodthorn. This one costs 2, which rains 6. Target friendly model unit ranged and melee weapons gain the corrosion continuous effect. So again, if you're up against something that is very high armor, this is very nice because, like, okay, I have all these pikemen coming in, they're really high armor, I don't care. I'm just going to go and put this spell on them, and then plink, 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 you're all corroded. So if I didn't kill you, well, it's just 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and yeah, you can kill off a lot of guys very easily this way. It's really nice to put on things like Striders and stuff like this, because also your range weapons, and again, it's just plink, 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 hit all you guys, corrosion, right? Another thing to be good against too is, say, like Trolls, so that if for some reason you hit them and they tough, hey, guess what, you're still corroded, and you're going to take this again during your maintenance phase. So very nice spell to have. Doesn't always come up, but it's a nice toolbox to have in there. Carnivore, that's another great one. That's cost 2, range 6. Target friendly model or unit gets +2 melee attacks against living. So again, this is only something that works against living, so Bethayne's spells aren't always the greatest against Cricks in regard for these two, but they're still good to have. And of course, whenever you box a living model with these melee attacks, the box model is removed from play, so great, I have a remove from play thing in my spell list here on a stick I can put somewhere. And this model, which is Bethayne, heals D3 damage. The healing part for Bethayne normally doesn't come up. Maybe sometimes if you are being shot at, you are within Belphagor, you're taking some damage, hey, this Carnivore can come up and you're starting to heal yourself in there. Otherwise, typically if you're non-Belphagor, you're way back, you're protected, you're not really taking any damage. So Carnivore doesn't really do much there, but again, you have something right here where you can boost your defense, you can boost your to hit as long as it's against living, and it's just here on a stick, you can do it. Now we get to two of our more interesting spells, the first one being Eruption of Spines. This is an offensive spell, cost 3, range 10, and to that model it'll be a POW 10, but you also hit the nearest D6 models, friendly or foe, so watch out for that. And they have to be within 5 inches, and then they also suffer a POW 10. So against something where there's lots of models, right, you just hit one and boom, it explodes off it. Or I've used a lot too where, you know, I might get Belphagor into a position, he has a lot of guys around him or something, or maybe it's a Carnivian that's being swarmed. Hey, you just hit your own beast, the POW 10 is going to do nothing, and then bam, all the guys around it are going to get hit and damaged. So it's a very good way to clear off infantry, especially now as well that we have Colossals. You hit the Colossal, sure, you're not doing any damage, but you're hitting Thor behind, you're hitting all the choir behind, so it's a really great thing there to kind of help kill off those support models. So some people don't like this spell because it's D6. You know, they'd like it a lot more if it was a certain thing, like it's always 3 or something like this. But hey, you know, on average, it's going to be 3 or 4. Sometimes it's going to suck and get 1. Sometimes it's going to be awesome and be 6. It's just part of the spell. But either way, you know, if you get past that randomness of it, and again, there's always randomness anyway, because when you roll to damage, you could be rolling poorly or something, but it is a very good spell to have. Now there's also Gallows. This one is another offensive, cost 3, range 10, POW 13. So if you really want to do some damage, there's a POW 13 you can throw in there. When an enemy model is hit by this attack, it can be pushed D6 inches directly towards the gallows point of origin. So of course what you're doing with this is that first of all, you're doing it to do some damage, and then you're dragging it closer. And the very neat thing is, because you have the arc node, you actually can get some kind of really neat angles where, like, first Belphagor does it over here and pulls a model this way, and then Bethayne does it from over here and pulls them the other way. As you kind of like get things around models, but yeah, of course at Fury 7, she can do this one here twice, and it's great. You know, it does a lot of damage. You pull things in, all of a sudden you can send in a beast to kill it off. It's very powerful. Plus, Belphagor can like take off to a side, gallows, and say pull a jack or a beast outside of control range. You know, look for those things too. So lots of different tricks you can do with gallows, not just offensive, can be defensive as well. Let's say if there's shield guard, you just need to kind of pull things apart. Hey, it's an expensive way to do it, but if you really need it to happen, gallows pulls this out of the way. If there is a model that's blocking the charge lanes that you need from somewhere else, gallows him out of the way, right? Doesn't just have to be on the target you want to kill, it can also be on whatever's in the way so you can get to that target. So very, very great spell. Now we're finally, after talking about all this stuff, like I said, she's a complicated caster, we're finally getting to her feat. Now her feat is, while in this model's control area, friendly faction models gain boosted magic attack rolls and damage rolls. So that's go magic. And friendly faction war beasts can use their animi without being forced. This lasts for 1 turn. Now clearly what this means is go magic. For herself, you know, you can go for a double eruption of spines where everything is boosted, right? Like all those POW 10s coming off there, boosted, 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 boosted. So that's awesome. The gallows, that'll be boosted for the to hit and the damage. So basically on your free turn, you're either going to say like, hey, I need to clear out tons of infantry. I'm going to do a double super boosted eruption of spines. Or if I really want to make sure that these gallows go off, because I really need to pull this thing over here, hey, I can feat and go with that. But again, it's not just her, it's the rest of the army. Now, the type of things like that are going to be affected by is, first of all, Hex Hunters. She loves Hex Hunters because, first of all, they're a great target for Ashen Veil, but as well, they all have their little magical shots, which are pretty damn powerful, and now when all of a sudden they're boosted, you do this and they just take off a heavy, right? It's short range, so they're shots for the Hex Hunters, so you have to get a little bit close, but they're also speed 7, and they just get in there and pew, 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 they just take off a heavy. So again, all of a sudden you have her with gallows, not gallows, eruption of spines, killing off all the infantry, and then if your Nis Hunters going and killing off a heavy. And hey, you could be running her with double the Hex Hunters and take out 2 heavies. Or again, they could just be killing off infantry, right? Hex Hunters are also good at this. So this is a thing where it's again, it's like, well, you know, I said before that she's kind of not really a Crix drop because 2 of her spells she loves, Ashen Veil and Carnivore, do nothing. But then again, she can kill a lot of infantry and has a lot of negative stuff for just regular infantry like that Animus we were talking about. So you can actually drop it into Crix. Just know that those 2 spells don't work. And as well, something while you're taking these Hex Hunters is the UA. Baal, or whatever his name is, he has a spray. Now, normally the spray is alright, but when that thing is boosted to hit and boosted damage on all those things there, you just put down that spray, and again, you are slaughtering infantry. Just absolutely slaughtering infantry. It's crazy. Another one she likes is a Sorceress and Hellion. Actually, in her tier, they're only 3 points, so that's pretty interesting. And again, they can go up there, they can do their spray. Everything's fully boosted, and it's just amazingly deadly. You also have things like the Black Frost Shard. They can do that, but so far, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more magic stuff coming later. And again, of course, also the Animuses, right? All these free Animuses mean you can do a lot more work. A lot of times, say that when you're going in with a Carnivian, you don't know if you're going to want to really push so much because you want to get that Animus too. Well, now the Animus is free. Same thing, say, with a Scythian. A lot of times, like, I'd like to get takedown, but I kind of want to make more. No, takedown's free now. Do it. And of course, for her, hey, she's going to cast that Belphagor Animus on herself because she loves that one. Belphagor gets to cast that one for free. You got your Angelius repulsing for free just because why not? Repulse, repulse. Push things together. Spray them down, kill them. And it's just a crazy turn where things just get slaughtered. You know, you go into games, there's like, okay, I'm really down on attrition, pop feet, and all of a sudden they've lost, 30 infantry and 2 heavies, and it's like, wow, that was horrendous. So there you go. That is really Bethayne. You don't really see her enough, and I think it's more of an idea of not of how powerful she is, because I think she's a great caster who has a lot of offensive and defensive capabilities. I think it's more just the fact that people don't really understand how this whole melding thing works and then kind of stay away from it. And it's a real shame because it's just really, really powerful if you just understand how it works. So there you go. There is Bethayne. Fantastic. Try her out. And if you ever face her, now you know to fear that feat turn. So either way, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.